going on, guys? Today we're doing a little motor maintenance. A lot of people always ask, like, what sort of maintenance do you have to do to a paramotor? And truthfully, when you become a paramotor pilot, you kind of become a two-stroke mechanic, but luckily it's all pretty simple stuff. So my plan with this Scout, since I got it brand new, is to take you guys along on the whole maintenance adventure. So every interval that the manual calls for, I'll probably film a little thing like this. So I just passed 10 hours on the motor, and that's the first major interval that the manual calls for. We're gonna start out with checking the spark plug and torquing the head. So let's get to it. All right, so one of the first points that they talk about in the 10-hour maintenance is to check the color of the spark plug. Now, the color of the spark plug is a good indication of if the engine is running rich or lean. If the plug's really like dark black, that means it's running rich. And if it's white or like a light tan colored, that means it's running lean. So we're gonna pull the plug out, and what we're looking for is like a nice coffee brown. So to me, that looks a little bit dark. Might mean it's running a tad rich. I think it's close enough. I would say that's a healthy engine. One thing to note, Vitarazi does put a sticker on the mixture screw, and if you adjust the mixture and mess with it and break that seal, you void the warranty. I guess the spark plug check is more of a indication to see if something has gone horribly wrong. It's not really like, go ahead and tweak your settings. All right, next step, I'm gonna take this shroud off. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I'm fairly certain the correct way to make sure you get the proper torque on these guys is to first loosen them and then tighten them down to the proper spec. Either way, it's not gonna hurt anything if I loosen these and then tighten them. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so the proper torque spec in the manual for the cylinder head nuts is 16 to 17 Newton meters or 11.8 foot-pounds. Make sure you don't confuse your foot-pounds and your inch-pounds, or you'll strip these suckers and have a bad day. Torqued, and always go in a cross pattern. Bam, bam. All right, so now I'm gonna replace the shroud, and I'm gonna torque the Allen screws that hold the shroud on also. All right, bam. I would call that a properly torqued head. All right, so the next step is tensioning the belt. Now, I've done this in the past before, but I never had the right tool for it, so I just kind of did it by feel. But now that I have the right tool, I'm gonna do it the proper way. The first step to this is just taking off the prop. All right, the next step is to loosen up this here bolt on the back side of the hub. Next, you want to completely remove this Allen screw in the side of the hub assembly. All right, so here's the tricky part. Vitarazi includes this torquing wrench and this little key here. And what you do is you stick this key in the center of the hub, and then when you attach this wrench doohickey on, you can see if you twist it right, it loosens, and if you twist it left, it tightens. So you want this to be pretty horizontal here. And then at this end of the wrench, you attach 4 kilograms of weight. So I have a bucket of water that I measured out to be 4 kilograms. Just for time's sake, I'm gonna zip tie it. Perfect. Now, so with that weight suspended there, that should give me the proper torque spec. Now I'm going to come around the back side and I torque this bolt to 25 Newton meters or 18.4 foot-pounds. 18.5 foot-pounds. All right, next we install this Allen screw back in, and it gets torqued to 15 Newton meters or 11 foot-pounds. And for a carbon prop, you torque the screws down to 8 foot-pounds. All right, got the prop back on, and all that's left now is they tell you to go through and tighten all the screws, bolts, nuts, make sure there's no leaks, and verify the integrity of the rubber mounts. So I'm kind of a big believer in post-flights being just as important as pre-flights. So I always like to go through my whole engine after a flight and clean everything, make sure that no screws are backing out, make sure there's no leaks, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna do that now, and the final step after that is they tell you to verify idle stability between 2 and 2200 RPM. So I'm gonna start it up and I'll take a look at my tach. So I'm just gonna check the idle, make sure it's good, and that'll be a wrap. Brad, that sounds about right. I just keep an eye on the idle after I fly, because once the engine's really hot and you're up high and you kind of back off the throttle, that's when the idle is important. Once the engine's really warm like that. I freaking love this engine, dude. So smooth, so easy to start, super reliable. I love it. So I think the idle adjustment is really important once the engine's really hot. And I noticed while I was flying a couple times, if I brought it to idle, once the engine was thoroughly warmed up in flight and hit the kill switch, it would still be idling a little bit too fast at that point, and it would kind of backfire and pop. I think it happened in a video somewhere along the way. But I just backed the idle down just a tad, and hopefully that prevents it once the engine's hot and in flight and all that shenanigans. All right, so that's about all for the 10-hour maintenance. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm gonna keep up with all the shenanigans of maintaining this motor, and hopefully nothing breaks, but if something unexpected happens, I will definitely be filming it and letting you guys know the whole paramotor maintenance journey. So till next time, guys, peace out, see ya.